Hello everyone, it's Scott again with another episode of AndroiPad TV. Some people ask me the question, where'd you come up with the name AndroiPad? Well, obviously it's a combination of Android and iPad. And then they ask, is iOS and Android a contradiction? And I tell them no. I actually like to say that they can play nice if you allow them to. And for that reason, I've chosen Android as my platform of choice for smartphones, but iOS is my platform of choice for tablets. Today we're going to be exploring 10 reasons why I love iOS on a tablet and 10 reasons why I love Android on a phone. And feel free to use the link to click back and forth to see my reviews of both. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy. So my first point for Android goes to its amount of quality productivity applications, Google Tasks and different things like that. And a lot of these applications you see here, of course, also exist in iOS. But the difference is, I think that there's more liberties given to the app developers in Android, and so they can create things that run within the system better, such as things with widgets and better notifiers and things like that. So you can scroll through here and see your agenda widget and how many SMSs and what these things are, and I can, the fact is that I just think that there's a better productivity functionality with Android over iOS. My next point goes to true and pure Google integration. I am a huge Google geek fan. I use Blogger and Google Books, and I use Google Docs, Gmail, Google Reader, Google Maps, all these things, all these Google applications I use on a daily basis, and they become my life. I know that sounds kind of pathetic, but it's somewhat true. Google Calendar, these things are really integrated into my lifestyle, and I couldn't possibly choose iOS as my phone because of things that work around Google integration. Android is truly Google integrated, and if you're a Google fanatic like I am, there's no choice. Android is your operating system. My next plug for Android is its ability to multitask. So let's say I'm in Google Tasks application here. All I need to do to pull up an old application, hold down, long press the home key. There's a list of my applications that were previously open. I can then go to Facebook, and I love the functionality of actually having a back key. So if I'm done with reading my Facebook, I can jump right back, and I'm right back in there. Now I can also do something. This is an application that's actually free called Wave Launcher, and I can pull up this little bar, and voila, I've got a folder inside my application that I can pull up my book reader, and I can read my book, and when I'm done with that, jump back, and I'm back to my Google Tasks application. So the functionality of multitasking is seamless, and when I'm at my home screen, pinch this, and voila, I can go to any home screen I want to go to. I'm going to jump to that one. My fourth point for Android is the vast amount of customization available. Every time I flip a screen here, it's a different wallpaper. And why is that? Because I have actually a live wallpaper, and all I have to do is double tap, and it randomly selects new wallpaper and puts them across all of my screens. And this changes every single hour to get me new wallpapers, and I can do all sorts of live wallpapers and customizations that aren't available for iOS. And it's and a lot of them use battery, but some of them are actually, like this one here, uses very little extra battery, and it's just a wonderful piece of customization. Not to mention, I can do things on my lock screen to customize it. So I created this little thing where I can drag over to my phone application, open that, my contacts, my camera, my video camera. I've got a list of important items like missed calls, my calendar events that I can look at really quick, and I can even create a little folder that floats in here. And I just think that's really cool. I can launch this little thing and then pick launch my camera right there, and wham, I'm done. And so the home screen, or the lock screen, is very customizable, as well as just basically the entire device, so customizable Related to all this, I just get a choice. You know, I can choose my price. There's anything from free Android devices with contracts all the way up to, you know, $400 or whatever if I want to spend that. I can choose my carrier, my hardware specs, if I want to slide out keyboard, my design of the device. So and no two Androids hardly ever look alike. You know, there's some resemblances according to brands, but you know, I've hardly ever seen anybody with this particular MyTouch 4G with a red cover, you know, and it's that much more unique to have an Android device. And then the custom ROMs that I can slip onto it, and sideload applications, and just the amount of freedom that I have. The next thing I can do is I can change my default applications if I want, you know, so if I don't want to use the default browser that comes with this, I can select this, use as default, and then every time I select a link, it'll automatically open this browser as my default, which I find a very much favorable browser than the stock one. And I would say the same thing about Safari. I would prefer if I could have a different browser as my default, but without jailbreaking. I don't get that option in iOS. And then, you know, I can choose a different camera if I don't like the default camera, and there's a lot of great choices. And every time you press the camera button, it's going to launch that camera instead of the stock camera. Or you know, a different phone. So if I don't like this stock phone application that comes with it, I don't think it's that bad. But I can put this on, which allows me to contact people really quickly at a touch of a button. And if I don't want this to be my default launcher, I can select a different launcher, and there we go. Here's a completely different launcher that I can use with a different app tray, and you know, it's just so customizable the way you can do things. So there, I'm back at my home launcher, and I just don't get that type of freedom with iOS. This one's a huge one for me, is folder management. This is an application that helps manage your folders, but there's all sorts of things that you can do in folder management. So I have all my applications in one of these folders, and I chose the icons, so I got the freedom to do all that. And you know, and if I want to launch something related to navigation, there we go. I've got all these applications related to navigation folder. So I was able to put the same applications in multiple folders, which I have not been able to figure out how to do with iOS. It just seems like it's one application per folder, and that's it. And you know, if I found that this movies application was good in both multimedia as well as leisure, I could put them in both folders and launch them quickly that way. I should also mention that because I can have folders and folders, I don't have to have a bunch of folders plugging up my home screen. All I have is just a main, launch it, pick my category, done. And so I get my applications so much faster. And if I'm really having a hard time remembering where that folder is, I've got an alphabetical list of all my applications right there. And that brings me to my 7th point. You know, this alphabetized app tray is just really nice to have. I really miss it on my iPad. I wish they had something like that, because you know, once I have my iPad icons all over the place and I remove them all over the place, then it's difficult to find them. But this is always right here. And on different types of Androids, you can customize it even more than just alphabetized. But I prefer the alphabetical anyway. My 8th point is widgets. You know, I can put widgets like my to-do list and my weather widget here, and I can launch and see the weather really quickly. I can put my agenda widget, my SMS widgets, my Twitter, Facebook widget, so I can read up on Facebook, you know, all the people there. I have got an Evernote with a stocks widget, so I can look at the stocks as they update hourly and find that, you know, things are mostly doing good. A little bit drop for Apple, but other than that, pretty good stocks. You know, clocks, sort of things like that, where I can really customize my home screens and make them far more than just an app launcher. They actually do things and serve a purpose, and I can categorize things on these home screens, which is the reason I think that you should have multiple home screens. Otherwise, I just want it on one screen so I don't have to flip it all over the place. My next point involves the simplicity to be able to just change settings really quickly. So here in my status bar, I can turn off Wi-Fi right there with a click of a button. I can turn off my syncing right there. I can turn on Bluetooth if I want, or I can turn on my flash, my light in the back here if I want, with just a click of the button, and then turn them back on. And really easy to adjust settings without having to open up another application. My 10th point is the ability to have full integration with social applications within any application. So it's not just whatever the developer put in to integrate, it's whatever applications I can possibly share with are integrated fully with every single application. So let's say I wanted to, send this picture to friends. I can click on the share and look how many different types of applications I have, and there's much more in different applications that I can share with. For example, here we are in Read It Later. Let's say I have this article here that I'm reading. Oh, that's a nice article. I like that a lot. I can click this share button, which is the same as what's on iOS, except for look how many more options I have. Add it to Instapaper. I can put it to Instapaper directly from my Read It Later competitor app, and then add it to Spool, Google Docs, Evernote, just on and on. All these different applications that I can share it with. I can tweet it right here, and it's just amazing the amount of social applications are integrated, and it's this way in all applications. And as a bonus note, this notification bar, which has been a part of Android since the beginning of time, obviously was just taken recently by iOS and almost made exactly the same. But I still find that it's better than iOS, despite the copy on that. Because I can take things and I can just swipe them out of the way if I don't want to see that one. Okay, I don't really want to look at Google Reader right now, so I swipe it out of the way. And I can put custom things up here. So I can put this quick access bar, which pulls up a folder of applications that I want to access quickly. And I can essentially put any application I want for quick access right up here in this bar. And so the customization, again, in the notification bar continues that whole trend of customizability. So why did I choose Android as my smartphone of choice? Well, it's fully 100% Google integrated. There's nothing that beats it if you're a Google lover like me. It's also designed to access applications very quickly and to multitask very well. It's a productivity machine first. Simplicity and kids apps and things for the non-tech savvy, are probably secondary. But since that's not my desire on a phone, I actually want something with a little tech savvy. I want to be able to customize the heck out of it. I choose Android as my smartphone of choice. Alright, thanks for watching. This concludes this video. Next week I'll be discussing 10 grievances with iOS and 10 grievances with Android. If you like my videos, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And you can follow me on Twitter at AndroiPad. Thank you very much.